I didn't flinch when my mother lifted her glass and gave a toast not to me, but to the one child who had supposedly made something of themselves. Her gaze didn't find mine, but her words sliced through me like hot metal. They echoed around the table, sharp and deliberate. Laughter followed. My brother S. leaned in, touched her glass to his with a knowing smile. My mother's grin stayed plastered on her face, deliberate. Too perfect to be real. I didn't move, no reaction, no defense. Just the faintest smile tugging at my lips, the kind that appears when you can feel a storm building just over your shoulder. Then, his turned her head toward me, brow slightly furrowed, and asked, "Wait, you're—" Her voice cut through the laughter like a blade. The room fell still. Forks froze. Even my mother stopped breathing. I leaned forward, slowly, deliberately. "Yes," I said. "I'm the one you're thinking of. I used to believe that love could soften people, that maybe it could thaw the coldness inside a woman like my mother, but I was wrong. Her love was conditional. It existed only when I was useful to her. When I was the strata daughter who earned scholarships, juggled 3 part-time jobs, and still managed to tutor her golden boy through college. Daniel, my younger brother, my shadow, my burden. I gave him everything. My notes, my time, my answers, my chances. And when our mother started turning her bitterness on me, he said nothing. He just stood there while she tore me down. 'Why can't you smile like Daniel's girlfriend?' she used to ask. 'You look cold. Ungrateful.' I thought it would end. I told myself my loyalty would matter, that being dependable and selfless would eventually earn me grace. But loyalty means nothing when you're the designated scapegoat in someone else's fairy tale. I discovered the betrayal one, jagged piece at a time, like shattered glass across a kitchen floor. It started with a voicemail. Daniel laughing. She really thinks the grams are coming from her work. Then a forwarded email, my research paper, my work stripped of my name, submitted under his, and finally, a message from my mother. "Daniel deserves this more. You've had your chance." That's when it all went quiet inside me. Not broken, not angry, just clear. I vanished. No more family dinners, no holiday greetings. I cut all ties, let them assume I was spiraling, that I'd fallen apart. Meanwhile, I transferred my grant to a private account, filed an anonymous report about the academic fraud. Daniel's name ended up blacklisted, discreetly. Quietly. I waited. Months went by. He stopped bragging about his research job. Mom called once, left a voicemail. "Why are you doing this to him?" I never responded. Instead, I studied his Elise. From a distance, she was sharp, driven, working at a law firm that had zero tolerance for scandal. So I made sure she found me. I began publishing under a new name and alias, built from the initials of the daughter they never truly valued. Elise read one of my articles and quoted it during a corporate presentation. My photo was buried on page 7 of the journal, but she found it. She always had an eye for detail, and tonight, she connected the final dots. Her eyes widened: confusion, recognition, realization. "Wait, you're—" "Yes," I said calmly. "I am the one you stole from. The one his family erased, the sister they like to pretend never existed." Daniel let out a forced laugh, unease creeping into his voice. "What is this? What's going on?" Elise turned to him, voice firm. "You told me your sister dropped out, that she was expelled for plagiarism?" My mother's head snapped toward me, alarm in her eyes. "She had a breakdown," she said, voice strained. "It was humiliating." I looked at Elise and spoke with clarity. "I kept everything. The original documents, the timestamps, every email. Your firm would find them very interesting." Daniel shot to his feet. "She's lying." Without a word, I reached into my purse, pulled out a flash drive, and placed it on the table. "No," Elise replied, her tone now cold and certain. "She's not." In 10 minutes, everything collapsed. Elise walked out with the flash drive. Daniel tried to salvage what he could, his voice cracking, throwing out threats that sounded more like desperation. My mother. She sat frozen. No clever insults, no deflection, just empty silence, the kind I'd waited years to hear. I stood, adjusted my coat, walked behind her chair, and leaned down. "You should have taught him to create, not to take." She flinched at my words. Then I walked away to the sound of my brother's world coming undone. Elise called me 2 weeks later. She'd ended the engagement, sent the evidence to Daniel's old university. They'd opened a formal investigation into academic misconduct, and my mother? She's alone now. Her perfect son turned out to be nothing but a fraud. People think revenge is loud, dramatic. explosive. But the most devastating revenge is quiet. It wears a calm smile, walks confidently into a room, and waits. I didn't destroy them. I just gave the truth a voice. And truth, when it finally speaks, is ruthless. Now, I live a quiet life. No spotlight, no applause, just peace. Because justice isn't about who cheers for you. It's about knowing you never had to become like them to win.